So, former NFL GM Randy Mueller, who was a GM for the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins, and I guess he's a contributor as well to the Athletic. He gave kind of an assessment about what the biggest concern for the Atlanta Falcons is. And here's his quote, do they have enough bells and whistles at premium positions and game-changing spots? When picking high in the first round in any draft, some teams' goals are either big guys, tackles or defensive linemen, or fast guys who force teams to either defend you differently, perimeter speed, or allow you to get to the passer on defense. Grinding out touchdowns with RPOs and play action passes only has so much shelf life. Now, look, this is what I've brought up consistently about all of this, philosophy and style and things like that. And this is not about, we don't have enough money to draft guys or pay guys, or this is not about cap space and all of those other different things. Okay. And Mueller was, quick to point out that he does believe Robinson at number 8 will be a strong weapon for Smith and the Falcons to lean on. But he remains unconvinced that Ridder is the answer at quarterback, saying that, quote, he's at best a work in progress. But this is the exact thing that I talk about. Now you're hearing an NFL GM, former NFL GM, say the same exact thing, that when you draft guys when you have that kind of high draft capital, they better be home runs at premium positions. And I like Pitts and London and all this kind of stuff. But again, why do I talk? I just did a hit on BetQL, from DC, and they were like, talking about Kyle Pitts. I said, it's been kind of underwhelming for Kyle Pitts. He has to have that Travis Kelce kind of breakout. Well, I said 100 catches, 1,400 yards, dozen touchdowns. And whoa, that's a lot of pressure to put. What do you mean it's pressure? He's the 4th overall pick. That's what he should be. That's what his numbers should be. If he's going to influence the game, that's what it's got to be. Because if you're not going to draft pass rusher at those premium positions, you have to influence the game with those kinds of picks. And it's right now, the Falcons don't influence the game at premium positions. Let me reread you that quote. Okay. Let me reread part of that quote. Do they have enough bells and whistles at premium positions and game-changing spots? Ask yourself that question. Is the game won because we have good wide receivers or a tight end that's really fast? Is that where the game is won? Or is the game won right up front? Is the game won with your offensive and defensive lines? The guy that's a former GM is telling you all of this. When picking in the first round, you either get big guys or guys who allow you to defend differently on the outside, or premium or passers or speed passer, pass rushers. And that's my question. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about, is the idea of, do we have the guys who can influence the game at the premium positions? You can argue with me all day long about this and that and things like that. It still boils down to the same exact thing. The reason we've lost 20 games the last 2 years isn't because of cap space, isn't because of Marcus Mariota and all these other things that we try to distract ourselves from, right? We don't have enough guys at premium positions to influence the game. Even the former general manager understands that. We don't have some of those guys. And that's why I continue to circle around. As camp's going to get started here, guys will start reporting, in a week from now, and open practices will start on Thursday and Friday. And it's going to be the question that I'm going to have. Do I think that there are potential for those premium positions that influence the game? Yes. But as of right now, it's not been proven. It's not been proven that we have those kinds of guys that can influence the game at premium positions. Look, again, we got Drew Dahlman at center, potentially either Matt Hennessy or Matthew Bergeron at guard. If you play Dahlman and Hennessy, my fear is over 17 games, some of the same things are going to happen. You're going to have two undersized guys that are going to be overwhelmed. Dahlman's not a guy who can go forward and push people around. Hennessy's not a guy who can go forward and push people around. Now, again, Bergeron's a guy who can. He's physically got the size and strength, 6'5", 321. He's got the size and strength to do all that kind of stuff. But he's unproven, and he's never been a guard. See, again, that these are these little subtle things. People latch on to, stats for London. How many receptions did he have? Or how many targets did Kyle Pitts have and all that? Again, we need to influence the game where it counts most. And an NFL GM is telling you those kinds of things. Do they have enough? He's asking the same question that I have been asking. Quote, do they have enough bells and whistles at premium positions and game-changing spots? And that does include your quarterback, by the way, too. That does include your quarterback. Again, for all of our flaws and warts, if Desmond Ridder is the MVP of the league, we're going to be in the Super Bowl. So if your quarterback plays outstanding, we'll be in good shape, which probably means your offensive line is really good as well. But do we have enough bells and whistles and players at premium positions in game-changing spots? That's what it comes down to. We can talk about drafts. We can talk about our additions. We can talk about the money that we spent. We can talk about all of these other things. But in the NFL, it's not all that complicated. It boils down to, can you win games at the spots that it counts most? Offensive line, defensive line, quarterback. Can you influence the game at those positions? If you can't, then you become one of those Midland kinds of franchises. If you can, you may not have all of the talent in the world, but if you've got guys who can win up front on both sides of the ball and your quarterback plays really well, you can win a whole crap ton of football games. That's the blueprint for the NFL. Be great in your offensive line, be great in your defensive line, have a great quarterback. You got those three things, you're going to win all. Doesn't matter what your receivers are and all this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, those are toys to have. But you got to have those three things. You got to influence the game at those positions. And you're hearing an NFL general manager say the exact same verbiage that I've been telling you all for months. I believe in that. Now, again, like I said, can they do it? Do they have people that if they step their game up can do it? Absolutely. If Ebiketie becomes a 10, 12 sack guy, if Bergeron takes over at left guard and he dominates in his rookie year like Tristan Wirfs, if he has that kind of year, then we've got something. But if we end up with the Jalen Mayfield-esque type of play on our interior offensive line, or we're a 19-sack team, guess where we're going to be? 7-10, 8-9, maybe 9-8, maybe. If things really go well, we're going to be back in that kind of mode. And that's why I think we're not going to regress super far. I think we progress, to where we're a 9 or 10 win team. But you want to get into that 11, 12, 13 kind of win team? Okay, dominate on your defensive line of scrimmage, push people around up front, have really good quarterback play. Then you will be Buffalo and Cincinnati and Kansas City. Then you will be those teams. Then you will be Philadelphia. Then you'll be those kinds of teams. But the former general manager of two franchises is asking the same exact question that I'm asking. Let's hope that it works itself out. Let's hope that we have those guys that can step their game up at premium positions. Because if we don't, then there's going to be some trouble on the horizon. All right, as you make Hittin' Hard your first listen, be sure to go in and leave us a comment on whatever podcast platform that you listen on to. Let us know that you're an everyday listener to the program. We like to call them our everydayers. So we do thank you so much for being a part of our community. But let us know that you listen in 5 days a week to the podcast, and let us know that you're an everydayer on whatever podcast platform that you listen on. Leave us a comment on it as well.